When we first delve into songwriting, what we often do is find a very monotone type of melody according to the chord structure that we do. So when people like us pianists discover the art of songwriting, we do so because we first discover chords. So for example, if we take our classic 1-4-5 structure, let's do it a bit differently today. Let's do it in E major, which is also what a lot of guitarists will be familiar with. E major, A major, and B major. And what you will very often find is that when you start writing songs, then that is really what the basis of it is. You might go, oh, that's nice. That'll make a really nice backing for my song. And then what you do is you put of secondary importance the melody. And I use the term in inverted commas there because what we actually come up with more often than not at the very start is basically the top note of the chord. And we sort of make a melody that's very much like and so on, like that. And what we're actually doing is we're not honouring the full potential of what we could be doing with the melody. So aside from something called word painting, which is a completely different thing altogether, or a completely different skill, and something that you should really look into, because that's all about how you kind of weave the melody around the lyrics and make it so that the music is actually following the lyrics in a very deliberate way. So if for example, basic examples, if the lyrics are talking about rising up, then you ascend the melody and things like that. But aside from that, we can focus on the importance of the actual melodic quality of the music anyway, simply by being stepwise. Now, stepwise music, providing you stick to the scale, is almost guaranteed success. Now, obviously, there's no hard and fast rule. You can put any notes you want into your melody, but it's kind of a guaranteed. If you go stepwise in the scale, it's kind of guaranteed because all the notes are going to sound great. So what it means is basically within the scale. So in this case, we're in the key of E major, so the E major scale. Within that scale, all the notes in the melody, they're either next to each other, up or down. So for example, rather than doing we could keep the same rhythm if we wanted to, and we could work out a little melody that just sort of joins it together more. So or something like that. And that's one of the great things about stepwise melodies is they're almost guaranteed, really. So before you even start thinking about having to make big jumps in your vocal line or your melody line, you can already get great melodies just by playing around with notes that are literally right next to each other. You don't have to focus on the same rhythm either. What you might find is that you can shorten certain notes and extend other ones, And that can create sort of a rise and fall as well, so that you've not got this constant chanting approach. Now, there is obviously a time and a place for the chanting approach, but it's very limiting. If that's all you're thinking about doing when you come to writing a song, then it's very limiting. So that's what you want to try and do. When you've got your chord sequence worked out, find the notes of the chord that really hit the spot for you. So, in this case, we did it very simply. We took the root notes, didn't we? E, A, and B. And then just join them up a bit more creatively rather than just sticking to those notes. Join them up a bit more creatively and just experiment with stepwise before you even start thinking about jumping bigger intervals than seconds, and you will be rewarded.